Nick, you were just saying that you're upset Kansas has been losing, winning all these football games. You want them to lose.
No, that's wrong. You couldn't be more incorrect about that assessment.
Yeah, no, I just made that up. I wanted to put you on the spot and see how you handled it. You did very
And
well. Hello,
did
friends.
well. Did well.
You did well.
Hello. Welcome into another episode of Could Be Wrong. And boys, vibes at an all-time high. Last week, vibes were what we thought at an all-time high. And yet all Kansas has done, both on the hardwood and the gridiron, is continue to have success. So we thought we were peaking. We haven't even begun to peak. So I'm not even going to say they're at an all-time high right now because there's a chance at this time next week, KU coming off a win over Colorado, their third straight ranked opponent, we could be entering uncharted territory with
Getting ready to
vibes.
play Duke in hoops.
Let's start here. Let's start here.
Vibe status. Vibey.
KU beats BYU 17-13, second straight win over a ranked opponent. They now sit at what, 4-6 on the year, 3-4 in conference play. Is Kansas the vibiest 4-6 team in college football history?
We're talking
Sure.
vibiest?
Vibiest.
Yeah, without a doubt. No 4-6 team has ever been this vibey.
It just
That's
feels
it.
like I'm happier than I should be. You know, on paper I should be upset.
Well, that's the trick. So are we happy or are we sad? Because it is hard to watch these games and not get a little bit agitated because like we all know. Like when you start looking at it, it's like, oh, they should be playing for the playoff. Like that
Yeah.
talk, which I thought was insane for the reasons that kind of played out, which is like it's pretty hard to, you know, be 7-3, 8-2. Like it's just KU doesn't really do that. Uh, but the evidence is they are without a doubt good enough, and it's painful. But but I'm kind of having fun ruining other seasons,
That's
and
the
it
best feeling.
feels very KU football. This feels like appropriate of the stage that KU football is in,
You mean as a program,
which
like
you may
big
not like.
picture?
Yeah, yeah. You want to go big picture, or should I?
Well, I would say this. I have stopped myself this week. I wonder if you guys have went down this road, but I stopped myself of like going back and picking a random game and saying, what if KU would have won that? Where would they be right now? I have not done it, but I'm sure it's very easy to pick one game if you want to get crazy with it. Pick two games and say, where would KU be right now had they pulled that one out? Had they beat K-State? Had they beat, I mean, take your pick. All
You
right,
can do it with all
Arizona
of them.
State. Every single one. There's not one game where you'd say, the
UNLV.
TCU.
There's six
TCU
of them.
game.
TCU is the one.
TCU was the one where you'd say, no, they really weren't going to win that one. But every other game, you could say, what if just one? Just give me one of those and tell me where KU would be. But I can't do that because I don't want to ruin the vibes. The vibes are pretty good over here in Colorado, so I'm not going to mess with a good thing.
The vibes are electric. Can I read some comments? We are back, baby. We are effing back. We've got screw it, trillion seat booth. That's a good take.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're getting this thing started. Colorado, you're on fraud watch. Our plans are measured in centuries. It's still football season. Can't wait to beat Mizzou in the Liberty Bowl. Fraud watch. Wait till
Independent.
basketball season. Wait till basketball season. You're on fraud watch. I mean,
That's good.
the comments just show how immaculate these vibes really are. You're not locked in here. We're not locked in here with you, Big 12. You are locked in with us. That's how I felt with Lance Leipold all year, by the way. Which is like, by the way, Lance, you're stuck here with us.
I'll tell you,
Sorry.
Make the
I'm
most
sorry.
of it.
I can't wait for the off season, or maybe even like this could come as soon as this week or next week, where a reporter, a beat writer comes out and writes a story about how this team spent the bye week before the Iowa State game, refocusing. Somebody, maybe it's Lance Leipold, maybe it's one of the seniors on the roster, like got up and gave an impromptu, impassioned speech about how there's still a lot to play for. That story is coming because I have no reason to believe that bye week, which, by the way, KU coming off of more than 1 week's rest this year, 3-0. 3-0. There's a bye before. I mean, you had the whole offseason before Lindenwood, bye before Houston, bye before Iowa State. All you need to do is give this roster 1 extra week to rest, and they are unstoppable. They turn into a freaking machine.
A little more time. I mean, really, it does feel like, I mean, KU football is like in a transition stage, right? Where they've gone, it's hard to just snap your fingers from doormat to like playoff. Like KU football's never gone to a bowl game 3 years in a row, right? We know these things. But even with the staff, like it took them time to figure out, okay, first time they lost a bunch of coaches. How's it going to work with some new guys? And how are they going to figure out, like, Jalen Daniels has some weaknesses as a quarterback. He's got some strengths. And, like, you know, you got to kind of coach around that. My friend described it as, like, he's a point-and-shoot quarterback. I think that took time, which I liked. And the program has just been in a transition. Like it makes sense. But the most important thing is like, once again, they're figuring it out. Like, you know, Lance's first year when they beat Texas, and it like they were bad, but you could start to see some pieces get put together the next year. Or sorry, toward the end of the year. And they had that big win. And now you're kind of seeing it again, where like they've stuck with it. They're able to have some big wins and improve week after week. So it's really nice to see.
Like, yeah, and I think even on a more macro sense, like you go to that BYU game specifically, KU needed a win like that. They deserved a win like that based on how many of those types of games they'd lost this year. I mean, they got outgained by like 100 yards. They averaged like 2 yards per carry on the ground. I think BYU outrushed them by almost 100 yards. But BYU just fucked up down the stretch. 4 red zone drives, 0 touchdowns, glasses on. I get it. But those are the games KU's lost all season long.
Is that right? 4 red zone drives, 0 tutties?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, KU was owed that one. Absolutely owed. And you know
regression,
what? They're owed some more. They are owed some more. And here comes Deion in the cowboy hat, Heisman Trophy frontrunner, betting favorite, showing up to Allen Fieldhouse. Sorry, Arrowhead Stadium. I don't know why I did that. I'm going to take 5, actually. I'm just going to stop.
I thought you were going to correct yourself and say Memorial Stadium and go with the double fuck.
I thought you had breaking news. He's like, we're playing basketball.
Deion is so confident. It's just a basketball game.
We're playing basketball.
Deion will coach.
This one would feel different. Like I know BYU is a top 10 team and Colorado's 17th, I think, in the latest poll. And we'll see where they're at after the new rankings come out on Tuesday. But because it's Colorado and the circus show that follows them, they are one of the most watched college football teams in the country. People, that game's on Fox at 1:30. There are going to be a lot of people tuning in just to watch Colorado, maybe not knowing the stakes of like what Kansas has been doing and the fact that despite their record and the differences in the standings, like this is a team that has every intention of beating Colorado on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's reckless abandon. I think the word is getting out. Their season got effed up early, and now they're coming for yours. They're coming to ruin your season.
The season fuckers. I mean, Nick,
are we 5 minutes in? Can we curse? I was waiting.
Yeah, no, I wanted to
we're
say
good
it
now.
Earlier.
We're good.
We're going to fuck your season.
But, okay, good. This can't be a trap game any longer, can it? Because of the fact that you get to coach them up on the fact that they beat Iowa State and BYU the last 2 weeks. So no, Colorado's not coming in overlooking Kansas on Saturday.
I actually think they could be. It's not that like KU is not. I just think like I don't know what happens in the Colorado locker room is more like what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. They might be. They're like, I don't know. Lance Leipold wouldn't give Deion anything. They asked him about Deion today. He was like, I love Deion. Like, okay. They should be aware. And Deion will say, like, he will certainly tell his team these things, but like, maybe it's a reverse mindfuck where once KU comes out strong, they're like, oh shit, now they're fucking our season. These guys are the season fuckers.
Pressure.
Season fucking has certainly been said in the Colorado locker room.
Kevin, do you have a good Deion impression? Can you give, if so, do you know what the speech is like when he pulls up the PowerPoint presentation in front of the whole team and it's in big bold letters. It just says season fuckers and it has the Jayhawk logo.
No, I don't have a good fake Deion. I do feel like he gets distracted, like, and the players could get distracted, like right before the game or like the week of prep. They're all focused on, like, he's like, Roth IRAs for everybody. Just, we're doing it. We're doing it big.
But you know what's wild is if KU beats Colorado on Saturday, both Colorado and BYU have, like, I think they play like Oklahoma State and Arizona State, like each of them. So are we fucking their seasons? Maybe, but it's probably going to be Colorado BYU in the Big 12 championship game anyway.
Okay.
No, pretty sure we're fucking their season.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. No, that's my bad.
Good.
I have a good stat. I have a good stat for the show this week. KU, as we remember, was picked to finish 4th in the preseason Big 12 media poll. They're currently 3-4 in conference play. Utah, Oklahoma State, and Arizona were picked to finish 1st, 3rd, and 5th, respectively. They have a combined record of 3-18 in conference play this year. So, in a season where not living up to expectations has kind of been it's been really hot this season for the Big 12. KU, Spin Zone, actually performing better relative to expectations of other teams who were expected to do well. Well, except for K-State.
I think also Spin Zone, KU's schedule not as easy as it once appeared. Right?
Nope.
KU ends up getting a lot of the top teams in the conference. We just ran through a gauntlet. That's what happened this year. Not our fault.
Did anybody expect I know we all saw Colorado at the end of the schedule at the beginning of the year. Did anybody expect that the wheels wouldn't have fallen off by now? I think we all kind of assumed that even though that game looked cool on paper, we all thought that Colorado was going to implode and do what they did last year. And instead, they're just like the most consistent team in the Big 12.
It is so weird. I mean, they're really talented. But
that helps. Turns out having 2 top 10 picks on your roster can help a little bit.
Yeah, their offensive line struggles. I mean, we can get into, like, can KU win this game? Of course, the answer is yes. The spread is a field goal. But what is the more KU football result here? So they need to win their remaining 2 games to get to bowl eligibility. It's Colorado and then it's at Baylor. All right. So what is more fitting for KU football this year? Is it you beat Colorado and then you lose to Baylor and still don't go to a bowl? Do you blow the Colorado game and then beat the shit out of Baylor? Or win both, lose both?
It's the first one, right?
Well, yeah, but the second one has a very familiar sting to it, like win by 1,000 in a game that nobody cares about to close the season. Everyone would be like, Baylor's hot, Baylor's playing better, and then KU just runs over them, and then we're all sitting there, 5 wins, another blown loss to Colorado, just a heartbreaker. Yeah, I think ultimately that's the right answer, though. Losing to Colorado, but not just losing to Colorado, losing in heartbreaking fashion.
I don't know.
Mike has put a photo of Lance Leipold with a cowboy hat and Deion sunglasses.
Shout out Foggy Thoughts for making that. I mean, like the Kansas Colorado thing, and Leipold was asked during his press conference today, like, you're kind of, or someone led a question of like, you and Deion are kind of opposite personalities. And Lance, like, tongue in cheek, was like, what do you mean by that? Really deadpan. Actually, like, pretty good comedy by Lance. Good delivery. Just like stared down the question. What do you mean by that? But kind of looked around the room, like, let everyone know he was kidding. Like, they
Did he
really
do his
are.
crazy laugh? Did he do his?
No, he was holding it in. He was really holding it in. I thought he was going to. He was like, don't do the crazy.
What do we think Lance actually thinks about Deion?
I think he does not. There's no way. He does not like Deion Sanders.
Well, I assume most coaches in America don't like Deion Sanders.
They are the complete opposite in like philosophy, where Deion is like, he's got the style, right? He's flashy, he's loud, and Lance is very like, you keep your head down, you do your job, all about substance, right? And it's just like couldn't be more different. So there's no way that it doesn't or it hasn't like agitated him here at some point. Now, like the way he's built it, like you can appreciate it, but like no way. He's not sitting there watching Deion like tweet or have concerts in the locker room after game being like, cool, that's awesome. No way.
You don't think he's like, we're the same guy. We're just at different programs. He played.
He said
he
it
played corner. I played receiver.
Well, he didn't say it exactly. He said our journeys basically have been similar, right?
Oh yeah, Lance was all pro NFL star.
Yeah, you're forgetting like the biggest part about Deion.
Yeah, Lance just started with Deion at Jackson State. That's the only part of him he's evaluating.
Like high school. And like his, maybe Lance has got a top 10 draft pick and his son coming through Free State High. All right.
Wait,
that's what they have that much in common.
What position does his son play? You don't know?
All.
Everything. Yeah.
All.
ATH.
He's Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders.
And Shiloh. And Shiloh Sanders.
Ideally not.
Let me pose a hypothetical to you. I want to pose a hypothetical to you. Let's say either this offseason or next, Lance takes a job in the Big Ten.
Boo.
We're doing this?
And no, I'm just interested in what your guys' answers would be. And let's say Deion is looking to get out of Colorado, right? His son's gone, Travis is gone. KU makes an attractive offer. I don't know how we get to this point, so I'm kind of glossing over the details. I just want to know, are Kansas fans excited about Deion going from Lance Leipold to Deion? Would Kansas donors be eager to pony up to bring Deion to Lawrence?
They were eager to bring Charlie Weiss and Les Miles.
That was a long time ago, though.
No, KU fans would absolutely like pee their pants in excitement. We'd be excited. I'll say it's we. I think like you take him if you can get him. In this scenario in which Deion gets passed up by the Big Ten school and then big powerhouse Kansas comes calling. Yeah.
But Deion's kind of like, but to me, Deion's kind of like, yes, it's exciting, but it's also like, giving the nuclear codes to a loose cannon. It's like, yeah, who knows what this guy's going to do, but by the time he's done, he might nuke the entire planet. That's kind of scary. That's what I'm worried about with Deion. He's like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to bring in 40 transfers. We're kicking everybody off the team, and I'm going to leave the program in absolute shambles in a couple of years. Which I guess for Kansas, it's like, all right, well, we've been there before, so it can't be any worse than some of the guys we've had.
Jeff Grimes found rock bottom.
Jeff Grimes coaching waiting?
Kev, would you be Kev, would you be happy? Imagine Lance leaves.
No, would you be happy right now if the report came down right this second that like
there's been a trade?
There's been a trade.
Good.
I want to stay on this path. I don't know. These building blocks are exciting, even though we're losing a million seniors and it's not been a great season. I like this. I like the slow build. Yeah, it'd be exciting. It'd be crazy. I was excited for Charlie Weiss, so I'm not the right person to ask because I don't know ball.
We all were. It's okay. You don't have to feel shame for that.
Decided schematic advantage. We
took a picture with him at the field house, smiling, actually.
Remember when the cheerleader, they were doing the Pizza Hut giveaway and a cheerleader brought a pizza to Charlie Weiss? Does anyone remember that? His first game?
Yeah, he ate the whole thing.
That's the same game. That's where you took the picture with him, Kevin, isn't it? When he was at the basketball game?
It's probably his first game.
I remember I was with you. You walked around the arena to go find Charlie Weiss and take a picture with him.
I think I remember the game. Do either of you?
I don't remember the opponent.
I think it was Ohio State. Jared Solinger, Ohio State, 2012.
Yeah, Kevin Young went off in that game, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Made multiple threes.
I remember that. It was an ugly game, and he carried us.
I think that was the Weiss game.
The Weiss, as it will always be remembered.
Not the Kevin Young game. The Weiss game.
The Weiss game.
Yeah. Weiss is all I remember from that game.
I was excited. Here's a comment from Carter. I was excited about David Beatty's recruiting abilities. I guarantee I'd be excited. Look,
yeah,
I think we'd be. You take it, right?
Sure.
It's a risk, but like you take it. Now, I'd prefer to keep building with Leipold over the long haul and have no more contract negotiations. If we can have that in the trade, we're just going to keep Lance and not have to worry if there's another good year, or even if they go 6-6. I'm cool with that.
Oh, in the trade, there's a stipulation that Lance just agrees to never threaten or
give me
with leaving.
2 years. Give me 2 years. Just let's get the stadium made, and then he can flirt again.
To that point, do you anticipate that happening this offseason, Mike? Or will this be a rather calm offseason with Lance? Yeah.
Well, it should be calm. It just depends. If they finish the year beating Colorado and Baylor 6-6, 3 wins against ranked, Lance's name will be on the circuit again. Now, his buyout's a little bigger, but also KU fans have been shit talking his wife on Twitter for last few months. So,
not us.
No.
It's wrong. If you're out there doing that, if you're out there doing impressions of her and sending it to us to play, stop it. All right. It's not childish.
Funny. Yeah.
And
not laughing.
It doesn't even sound like her. Okay.
She's not from Wisconsin. And look, there's a comment here, not too many power to. It doesn't look like major jobs are going to be opening up this offseason.
Yeah, we always say that, and then stuff just kind of happens, though.
Yeah. I think we'll be all right. So, I have a hard time seeing too much happen unless the dude wants out and he goes to FIU or FAU or something like that. That's it's going to be a fuck you.
If we lose our coach to either FAU or FIU, I don't care which one.
I don't think that'd be insane.
It'd be pretty depressing.
They'd have to pay his buyout. He takes a massive cut. It's just a fuck you situation, in which case, if that happens, if you're listening, we didn't mean anything we said. No. I liked Jeff Grimes the whole time. In that tweet, we don't even know if it was real.
We don't. And it probably wasn't. With all the
our
AI.
Funeral? Yeah,
with everything happening in the world and society, don't believe anything that you see on Twitter. This game's at Arrowhead, KU versus Colorado. I think it's 2:00, 2:30 kickoff, Arrowhead time. Are we anticipating a respectable turnout?
I really hope so. I really hope so. I think it'll be respectable. I do like. You'd have to think that there will be a buzz with Colorado. The team's playing well. It's senior day. And I just like for a minute want to say we don't get like this is get corny like this or soapboxy, but the KU seniors like truly gave us like a lot of joy and fun for KU football for the first time in a really, really, really long time. And this year didn't go great, but I still like I really am just appreciative of them, and I hope they get a good crowd in, and I think they'll get a pretty good one. But like those guys changed the program, and they stuck through like what 2 or 3 coaches, some of them 3. So props to the seniors. That's it.
It's
That's
awesome.
the take.
It's awesome that they actually like kept fighting to win the last 2 games against ranked teams after how off the rails this thing went. I don't know. I love this team in the end. It's weird to say, but there's some awesome characters on it, like unheralded guys that I don't know. We're probably gonna miss them next year.
Name one.
Kobe
Is
Bryant.
Skinner a senior?
Kobe.
Kobe's the one. Kobe's 1A for me, like right there with Devin, just because I'm not super concerned about KU's ability to like get productive runners in the future. I don't know if they'll get one like Devin, who's the best running back maybe in the history of the program, but having an elite ball hawk corner is just sick. It's so much fun just knowing that like, hey, we may give up 30, but this guy may get 3 picks, right? And then you've got Mello on the other side of him. So those corners, man, I am going to miss them a lot next year. Like the first time somebody just burns one of our sophomores next year who I have to learn their name. Like who's that guy? Oh, that's the guy.
Jalen Todd.
Yeah.
He's going to be good.
Sure. But he's not going to be Mello and he's not going to be Kobe.
Not this year. I think they do have some promising talent in the secondary, but like that takes time. And it was so exciting. Like the run that those DBs had, where basically like that bend don't break Brian Borland defense, like the vaunted Brian Borland defense. But hey, they forced a lot of picks, right? They let the receivers go make plays. So we'll miss them a lot. Quentin Skinner has fought Luke Grimm, like those guys were awesome. And then of course Devin Neal, like dude runs so hard. So there's chatter that the young corners could be just as good. Alexander and Todd, I think better. Like seriously, they've got some really good young corners. Brian Borland, defensive coach of the week. James Franklin,
really?
Take notes.
Who
James
names
Franklin.
that? That's wild.
Can we float? Like, does anyone know any Penn State donors? Like, we got to just like start just high level clips to Penn State donors about Brian Borland.
Wait, you want to run Brian Borland out?
I don't think Borland will be back.
He's old,
really?
right?
I think he's going to retire.
But is this a forced retire?
I think it's like an amicable end to the Borland era. He almost retired this past offseason. But
I mean, he's what? He's 79
Jordan
years
Peterson
old.
Back. Don't tell Penn State donors.
Well, I just think it's interesting that Lance has the same coaching staff for like 2 decades, and in 2 consecutive off seasons, he's going to lose his OC and DC. I don't know if it's concerning, but it's a little strange.
If Borland were to retire, KU I think would have a plan in place that they feel good about. And I'm assuming that plan would include Jordan Peterson, who's been one of the best defensive assistants they've had.
He is not a
He's at
coordinator,
A&M.
but he's not a
At
coordinator.
A&M. He's like co-DC, but he's really the DB's coach. Or he'd come be the coordinator at KU, hopefully. He'd be expensive, but like that dude is a really good recruiter. Jeff Grimes.
Down.
Can Jeff Grimes be the special teams coach? Shout out to Jalen Pooch, co-DC.
Yeah.
I think that's real. They'll try. Yes, Peterson's an A&M alum. You can only have him until as long as they have their DC. But like that would be a great pickup for KU.
I just want to, and with the alum stuff, he's going to stay being like a defensive assistant forever because of his loyalty to the program. Like, no, these guys are going to take money. These guys are going to take money and opportunity wherever it comes.
Yeah.
This is like that kind of reminds me of whenever KU has had a coaching search. It's like, well, this guy has ties to the area. Jim Harbaugh's wife is from Shawnee Mission, so they're going to come to Kansas. Or like Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning he was also from Shawnee Mission. Everyone's from Shawnee Mission.
Can I tell you?
But just like the idea that like, hey, his cousin's husband is from Lenexa, so he should be a name to watch.
Can I tell a Dan Lanning story from when KU was interviewing him? I was early in the Scoops game, a hungry young scooper, and I got Dan Lanning's phone number, and I called it to try to see if I could get some intel about this interview. Just cold called, no text, no heads up. I'm from Houston. My area code is a Houston area code. He thinks I'm a recruit. He's the DC at Georgia. So he like picks it up. He's like, "This is Dan." And I explain who I am, and he's like, "Yeah, can you hold on a second?" And like I hear shuffling and walking, and then like a door closed. Like he was inside the facility, I assume. And then he's outside, and he's like, "Yeah, look, I respect Kansas, but I'm not. I'm happy. I thought you were a recruit. I don't want to get into it." It's basically what happened. He just like he tried to be like, "I'm not gonna take this," and then he just was like, "Why am I engaging in this conversation?" But it was just funny to hear him.
Too deep. He's already committed. He answered the phone.
He was shocked. He was really nice about it, but I could also hear him like scrambling to get outside. He was like when he realized what was going on. This is Dan. Hey, I'm a Kansas reporter. Hold on a minute. Haven't heard from him since. No.
We should do a Mount someday. One episode we should do a Mount Rushmore of guys we thought might end up taking the KU football job.
Monken and
Harbaugh.
It's a good list.
It's a Hall of Fame list.
You
start with Harbaugh and Lanning, and then you fill in the I don't know who are the other two fuckers up there.
Do we want to get into like the Colorado game? Like what does a win look like? Do we have any strong takes or like what we think happens?
No, because here's my thing with KU and how they win. Like normally you'd look at a 4-6 team and say, "Oh, well, this needs to go right, that needs to go right." But as we've seen the last 2 weeks, they've won in two completely different fashions. Versus Iowa State, where they just scored 1 billion points, and BYU, where they played a grinded out game and the other team messed up more down the stretch. So that is sort of what we've known all season long, which is that this isn't, you are what your record is, but this is not a bottom dweller football team. This is a team that's from an analytical point of view, whatever you want to look at, this team is just as good as Colorado. So like, how do they win? You tell me. Like they've been in 1 million different games and they've kind of stuck until the end in a lot of them. It's just now they're starting to turn into wins. So
are they the second best team in the conference? Is
Kansas?
This team, like you'd say Colorado probably is the best. Yeah, is Kansas the second best team in the conference?
I don't know how you can
Arizona
say that.
State. That's probably right.
I don't know how you can say that.
Sean says
because
Arizona
any other
State.
team you want to pick apart, like even if you want to pick apart K-State, it's like, well, would you rather have had your shitty stretch at the beginning of the season or at the end of the season, right? It just so happens that KU's playing good football right now, and the only reason we're tearing down these other teams is because they're losing to KU, and then K-State's kind of on its own little island. But no, I don't think you can say KU's the second best team. Where could they realistically finish? If they win out and they finish at 5-4, what could they finish like fourth in the Big 12? Right where they were picked?
Probably. Like this is a very
that would be
Kansas.
epic.
It has felt like very appropriate to me. Again, like it's disappointing. It's drives us all nuts watching them beat a top 10 team on the road. But like a program in transition, like you can see the pieces coming together, and 4 in the conference, like, yeah, it's probably about right. It's probably about right. Turns out it's kind of hard to win football games every week.
I would say this. I know last week I kind of joked that I didn't want KU to go to a bowl because then the record would state that it was actually a good season, and it didn't feel like a good season. So now,
take,
but I know. And of course, like you get another big win against the top 10 team and the vibes start to pick up and you're like, no, I want to be able to look back on the KU football reference page 10 years from now and be like, whoa, they had 3 straight seasons where they went to a bowl game like that.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Like the bowl itself, I don't care as much about like the bowl this year. Like I'm excited for a bowl game. It's more about the big picture of like, yeah, you kept it going. You found a way to grind it out and get to 6 wins.
Yes. It is really good for KU moving forward. And like for fun, I want it to be like the shittiest possible bowl. Like if we're going to be in a shitty bowl, I want Shreveport or somewhere where it's like icy and they shouldn't be playing a bowl game. But is it better to like, okay, let's say KU wins these next 2 games. It'd be awesome. We'd be going nuts. Is it better to start the season hot because like that 4-0 looks so good? Like that's just so exciting when you get that ranking. And KU did that for 2 years and then kind of fell apart late and couldn't keep it together. Is it better to start the season hot or as a fan or in the season, like on this win streak, last 4, 5, whatever? 5-0.
I think it's harder. I think it's harder to do what KU's doing. I think it's harder
for sure
be down and out, and then like still find the mental fortitude to like say, no, we're not throwing in the towel. Like we're going to keep plugging along. As a fan though, I don't know. It really takes the wind out of your sails when you start the way that KU did.
Yeah. There's no hope when you're 4-0. What were they 4-0 going into that TCU game?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's hope. There was no hope this season, and that's why, like Nick's saying, it's so impressive that they manufactured it internally.
I agree. Like it is way more impressive. Completely agree. As a fan, that 0 gives you a peak that like it's hard to come back from, even if you only win 2 more games. So 5-0, I agree. We got some people asking if KU would get ranked or votes if they end 6-6. Like probably. I don't even know. I don't care. Some like doofus in Buffalo is going to vote us. No offense, Lance, to any of your friends who may still be there. It was just a random call.
Do we have any more football stuff, or should we get into some hoops?
I ChatGPT'd the price of a shoebill stork. Do you want to save that for the end or the?
Let's do that now.
I don't know if I can wait. I don't think I can wait.
I don't think I can either.
All right. So for those of you who didn't listen last week or weren't watching, somehow Nick and Kevin went to LSU. Their take was that like KU needs to have a drugged up live mascot like LSU does with the Tiger. AB commented that the shoebill stork is awesome. We looked it up. This bird is massive. It's really cool. You should listen to it.
Kind of looks like a Jayhawk.
Yeah, like a gray
When we
Jayhawk.
paint it, it sure will. And
It
duct
looks
tape
like
shoes
it
to its-
looks like a methed out Jayhawk.
perfect.
It's big enough to eat monkeys. If you Google it, like this thing is massive. We need one. I would like it to be nested up in the rafters of the field house. And
You didn't share that take.
it's just yeah, we need to
getting
build a
better.
bird cage. So phase 2, you're on fraud watch because we're getting this bird first. It's going to cost a lot.
Mike, so obviously we all know most of the large donors listen to this. How much are they going to need to scrape together
For the shoebill?
for the shoe bill?
The initial investment is looking at $700K to $1.3 million.
Easy.
Okay.
So we'll call it $1 million. But it also says that this underscores basically like the conservation status, calling it a mascot represents. It basically says like this would be impossible. There aren't really any of these, but it'd be maybe $1 million, and then another 100 to 130K annually.
Okay. And how much did KU offer Kotelnicki to stay last year? So is the shoebill stork more expensive than keeping Kotelnicki at Kansas?
No, it's cheaper.
So I think that's an easy sell.
We're taking Jeff Grimes in the bird.
That's what you tell the donors. You say, hey, we saved you guys a lot of money with Jeff Grimes this season. It's time to reinvest.
Hold on. I just got something good.
We can name it Bill.
Oh, that's perfect. 'Cause we've been wondering how to honor Bill, right? Like Bill has said it the other night during the North Carolina game. You know, James Naismith Court, Allen Fieldhouse. You can't name those after him. But you know what? Neither one of those guys have is a large predatory bird living in the rafters of Allen Fieldhouse.
Bill,
it'll be Bill. Yeah, Billy Eugene 1, Billy Eugene 2. We're just gonna keep naming it Billy Eugene, the shoebill Jayhawk, painting it constantly.
Lance will be locked into painting it, and for all alternative games, they can have it be the other mascot and logo, that match the paintings. So we've got Lance here. I'm uploading the screenshot right now. Here we go.
Oh my God!
It's the shoebill stork with Deion's hat. Thank you, Father.
Looks like a sheriff from a strange cartoon.
You know, and
so
that's the thing.
This week we got that.
And that's the thing. That's been my only gripe about the KU logo is that it's smiling. You know, it doesn't strike fear into the hearts of opponents when you see this happy bird on the side of the helmet. Shoebill stork. Now
Wingspan is 7'7". Get a scholarship. AB says, who would be a higher ranked recruit, the shoebill or Bryson?
All right, let's get into it then. Let's get into some hoop stuff.
Hoops.
We'll get to the recruiting stuff. KU's had a very busy and exciting couple of weeks here on the recruiting trail, but KU, after their win over Oakland, 4-0 on the season. I want to start here. AJ Storr, best game as a Jayhawk coming up off the bench versus Oakland. There's part of me that's like, Nick, don't go there yet. Don't do this yet. It was Oakland. I want to see this guy show up against one of these big opponents. Fortunately, we got another one coming up versus Duke. I feel like it's about to happen, though. I feel like we're about to see the switch get flipped on AJ Storr, which is just, it's going to be a bottle rocket up my ass, man. I am so excited for this.
Okay. So is this what we've been waiting for? Like that clear number 2 to emerge? Is that what's going to make everybody feel better than like any one of these 6 complementary pieces can do it on a given night? Like we want a number 2 to emerge and I guess become a starter. That would be nice too.
Because I think the biggest lie that people will tell you about basketball is that like, oh yeah, let's just have a ton of depth. Anybody can be the number 2 on a given night. It used to be that way where it was like anybody can be the number one. It's like, no, you need a number one, and really you need a number two. You need a guy who can be that, because look at the NBA, for example, right? Who's the last team who won without 2 stars? You need to have that 1-2 punch. And as good as Zeke has been, I still think like he's a great piece. AJ Storr is not a role player. You know what I mean? Like he does not have it in his DNA to be an ancillary guy coming off the bench, giving you 20 minutes and like, hey, one night I'm going to give you 6, one night I'm going to give you 16. He needs to be out there running and gunning. And I think it's only a matter of time before that happens.
Nick, you're a true professional to fight through these comments coming in.
I didn't read any of them.
Sorry.
I know, that's why you're a pro.
Can I read a couple?
Mike can't
Piss running down Hurley's leg when Billy Eugene makes the pregame flight around Allen. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm losing it. Can't stop laughing, picturing Vern making a documentary like There's No Place Like Home, and a dead serious face pitching buying a stork to billionaire donors. That's it. I'm just cracking up at some of these. So your take was KU needs a number 2?
Now you've got me. That 30 for 30 was so bad. It was so awful. If that guy got 10 million out of David Booth for the rules about, I could have got double. Like you could tell David Booth was just giving that guy 10 million so he'd leave him the fuck alone.
That's a skill. I think that is an underrated skill. But
He's crying in the corner and he's like, oh my God, look, it's a picture of James Naismith. Holy cow. It's the worst fucking movie ever.
It's bad. It's bad, but I'm going to say that we're filming a video for like Bill Self tribute video. And it's like, I'm here pitching us buying 2 birds, big birds in a cage up in the rafters of Allen Fieldhouse.
It's in a cage now?
No, it's a nest.
Well, it's a bird cage.
Yeah.
It's going to be in a cage.
It cannot be in a cage. It needs to be at a risk of flying around at any moment to keep everybody on edge. Yeah. And it's completely like uncoachable. Like it's gonna take off in the middle of a fast break and eat the ball.
Dude, Diggy Coit is not safe.
Not safe. Nobody's safe. You're not going to be able to recruit small guards anymore.
No.
They'll be like, I saw what happened to Coit.
You're Bill.
I can't go there. Scott Drew showed me the footage. Like, I'm going to get eaten if I go there. I can't go. I love your program, but I can't.
Bill's going to be like, all right, I got to get Zach out of here.
Okay.
Call on Billy.
Mike, AJ Storr. Are we in?
I'm done. Yeah, we're all the way in. All the way in on AJ Storr. Yes. I'm excited. Like, I think you still got to get there. It's only November, but you could see an engaged AJ Storr, right? You could see the potential. And you said you want like a number 2. Zeke Mayo is shown signs. It sounds like he'll maybe be a little hot, a little cold at times. He plays really hard through it. But if Zeke's your number 3, or if AJ's your number 3, if those guys are firing, KU is going to be awesome. But AJ Storr clearly has like the most raw talent of anyone not named Flory Padunga.
Well, that's just it. Like, you want to win a title, your margin for error is so slim. You need your best. It's the Remy effect. You need your best players to be your best players. Because we could get halfway. Let's say AJ Storr just doesn't piece it together. And then we're saying, you know what? They expected him to be a guy, and they didn't get that. But other guys are chipping in, and this guy's a little bit better than you thought. That's fine. That can get you through the doldrums of non-com play. But when you get to March, you need the most talented guys to be your best players. And AJ Storr is one of your 2 most talented dudes on this roster. Again, not named Flory Padunga, because we could do a whole thing on Flory as well.
He brings a different element. Like, he's the guy that can go get his own bucket. Athletic as hell, by the way. dunkies. He's got dunkies. I really think, like, obviously Bill wants him to play a certain way. You need him to be engaged on defense, probably get some extra rebounds. But here's the thing, and here's what it comes down to. KJ Adams, I'm fine with him starting, but, like, he can't be playing 37 minutes with a bum ankle. And it's November, so Bill's just going to play the guys he trusts. And we cannot have this conversation every week. But, like, that's where the minutes have to come.
We can.
It has to.
We can do it.
We will.
But okay, but that's kind of the point. Is this going to be, because to that point, Mike, if
it's gonna
KJ continues to play and play a lot of minutes, that conversation will never go away, ever, all season long.
So that's going to be a
on
conversation.
Twitter. There will be us talking about, like, could you cut it back a little bit? Could you cut it down to 25, 24 minutes? And he's played less the last couple of games. The one on Saturday doesn't really count. You had scrubs in there the last 4 minutes. So KJ it's so interesting because when he's playing well, every single time he is just getting easy buckets and dunking and finishing in transition. I'm sitting there watching going, okay, all right, this works. This is fine.
He can be a great, like, matchup, like, issue for teams. He's, you know, a changeup or a curveball, but he's not your fucking heater. He's not
that's
your
just
fastball.
it, though. That's just it. He can also be a huge matchup advantage for other teams. He's just
Right.
It's either big swing, big miss. You know what I mean? Like, and I think when you get into Big 12 play, especially these teams who have already seen him, these coaches have already seen him for 3 years, they're going to be like, yeah, we got this. We got this guy. Oh, you want to play him 30 minutes? Cool. We got an answer for that.
I think the minutes will come down, but it's going to take he's not going to give it to these guys. He's going to make them earn it and prove it so he can trust them late and, like, teach them the lesson of this is how he wants them to play, which I get it. I agree. Sean says KJ's always going to start. I think that's right. And for me, like, it's about getting him from 37 minutes to what Sean also said, the 25 to 30 minute mark. And I think, like, 25 minutes would be perfect. 28 minutes, I can be cool with. 37 with 3 rebounds is where it gets painful. It just cannot keep happening. And more minutes are going to have to, like, you need it for AJ Storr. You need it for Rylan Griffin. And we're all about to get real giddy over Shaquille Moore. Because they like this guy. They like this guy enough to where they played him after one practice. That's it. That is a guy the staff likes. He had done one full practice.
That's fine, but now you're just running into a numbers game. Like, are you going to play 3 point guards every night? Oh.
Yeah, he has to.
That ride ended quickly.
I thought he was
Diggy's cool.
Player.
Yeah.
They did like him. But, like, he just hasn't, like, shot that well. So, like, it turns out maybe some of the size and speed, like, or if he's a volume guy, like, you want to have the minutes for that. We've seen guys struggle with that before. Like Joe Yesufi was a guy when, like, his first 2 shots were bad, but in a couple of games where got extended minutes, like, he kind of needed to, like, keep going to get in a groove. I don't know that Diggy's that, but it could be. Either way, like, Shaquille Moore, I think, is really good. You basically have, like Kansas fan here says, like, best on-ball defender. He's a really good on-ball defender. He's a senior. He started, like, 60 games. He's athletic. Not a great shooter, but he can dunk and guard.
I guess I'm not on this like excitement train the same way I'm wasn't excited for Diggy. It's just because no matter what you think of him or who you think's going to win the battle between Shaq and Diggy, in my eyes, they are fighting for the 8th spot on this team. Because, or even if you want to say, well, okay, well, they're the backup point guard, so that automatically entitles them to X amount of minutes per game. That's fine. But you've got your starting five as is. Even if you think KJ ends up coming off the bench, that's fine. He's still going to be one of your first two guys off the bench. Flory Badunga is going to get minutes, and yeah, I get it. Big guys aren't battling with guards, but you just start to play the numbers game of
right to Flory?
But like who the top 7 on this team are clear cut, no questions asked. Like that is your core rotation. So when we're talking about Diggy and Shaq, you're talking about the 8th guy in this rotation, the last guy in this rotation. So like, yeah, you may get useful spurts from either of them. Just it doesn't feel like they're real difference makers to me.
RCGH says on-ball defenders don't win 6 games in March. Guards do, and he's going to be guarding guards. And I'm curious to see how he can defend, help them with the pick and roll too. Whereas like Diggy's not going to be able to maybe help that much, but if you get some more size and athleticism, that's ultimately a good thing. So while he is not a key, he's not a Rylan Griffin talent or AJ Store, obviously, but you've got a guy that can. Backup point guard's important. The second unit is important, and if anything happens to Dwan, like I'm just telling you, like I think he's got fastball off the bench. Like I think he's gonna lead that second unit and look pretty good. They like him. They like him a lot. I'm excited about him. And if Dwan can play less, it's better for everyone. Not because he's not good. It's just because he played 40 minutes for like 3 years in a row. Like probably not great. On-ball defenders don't win in March, but shoebill Storks sure do. I'm excited for Shaq more. Kev?
Yeah.
Who gets you more juiced? Who gets you more juiced? Diggy or Shaq? Where does the juice come for you?
It's too early to. There we go. It's too early to tell. It's probably Shaq. He's cool looking. He's not so small that you're worried about the shoebill eating him alive. It's probably going to be him, but I mean, what did he play? Did he play?
He had 5.
Okay,
he played 5 minutes. He played 5 minutes.
It felt like 12.
More.
Yes.
He's on a minute limit. He's on a minute limit.
It'll end up being
so
him,
good
but
that he hit it.
like
you.
Nick said, these are dudes battling for our break glass in case of emergency spot. I mean, far, that's how it seems.
I think he's going to be in the rotation. But
where?
I know. And the other thing was like Rylan Griffin, like I think pretty fucking good too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know where the minutes shake out. We do this. We've done this on many good teams. Maybe they could play 8 or 9. It's never happened.
It won't late.
Well, and the other thing is when you get to March,
stacked.
the starters are playing 35 minutes in March, you know. You're right. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have a guy who you feel comfortable playing if you need him to. But I'm not super excited about. I'll tell you this. I am very excited about Flory Badunga. The dude has played 4 games. He has missed 4 shots because he dunks the shit out of everything. And like, I know it's a little early, but is Udoka Azubuike's dunk record on Prod Watch at this point? Or will Flory not be here long enough?
He won't be here long enough.
I'm already doing this a familiar dance with him where I'm just like, stop it, chill out. Because I know he's like 6'7", but his arms, he's the arms of a 9-foot man. But
like a shoebill.
We can't have him leaving. That just doesn't make any sense. I can't. Yes, he has a shoebill bird wingspan.
I think he'll be back. He should be back next year.
Should be, but we've seen this before.
We have.
We thought Furphy was coming back.
Yeah, we have a guy who looks like a high school freshman playing for the Pacers right now. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Is he getting run?
He was guarding Grady Dick tonight.
No.
He had Furphy on Dick.
He played in a game. I don't know if he's getting real run.
He's averaging 1.4 points per game.
No, he just scored his first bucket. Well, he's a child, so it's going to take him a little time. We need AJ. Like, we got to do whatever we can do to get AJ Store like 30 minutes, 28 minutes. Please, I'm going back to that. Like, it has to happen. Flory, I think 2 years, you hope. But he's one of those, like, I can't take my eyes off him when he's on the court.
Yeah.
He totally gets your attention.
Just
when you see him running
big,
around.
quick twitch, bald eagle wingspan. Like, yeah, that's fun.
It's so fun.
Wingspan. Shoebill, you mean? Yeah.
Shoebill,
No.
Yeah.
Flory, it seems like he's got some touch, too. I like the Hunter Flory lineup also. The two of them on the court together.
Oh, I told you guys.
What's up with that?
I'd like to make a tweak. I told you before the season that I was already putting people on fraud watch for saying the take that I thought I knew was coming, that Flory needs to play more, Bill needs to get Flory more run, and Hunter's not quick enough. They need to swap Flory in for defensive switches. But I have to make an amendment to that because now I'm realizing I can't believe this in 2024, but people are going to start advocating for the two big lineup. It's going to happen. Hey, let's just get our 5 best players on the court together. Figure it out.
You got to do it with like Zeke, Rylan. Like, you need Zeke and Rylan or Store on the court just to spread it out. You need shooters everywhere, and then just have Flory like.
So you're already talking yourself
wild.
into it.
Yeah, because it's kind of sick. It works against UNC.
We're
zigging. Everyone else is zagging, going small.
Why don't you just do it? I don't know. Duke's a pretty good opportunity. They're super long. Let's just do it. Let's do it soon.
How many times does Cooper Flagg need to body KJ Adams before you're ready to see it in that game? Under 4 timeout?
I need to see it one time, and I'm getting the hook. You're off. You're off the stage.
Because then
That's
you
for that
start
matchup.
project. Yeah.
For that matchup.
Duke game's going to be good. Hey, David Booth, while I ask you for $1 million for this bird, the insurance policy, when it's up in the rafters and Cooper Flagg is down there playing basketball, might be a little high.
Yeah, acquisition.
So we're going to need a few $100 million too for that.
Yeah, acquisition cost is kind of not representative because the operating costs for maintaining this bird are clipping at like 7.5 million a year. So it's uninsurable, but we found an insurer. But it's
Chenoweth.
Chenoweth. Yeah, Chenoweth. He's underwriting it.
Yes. I want to get into this recruiting class because KU so far this year, we already knew about Darren Peterson, which happened a couple of weeks ago, 3rd ranked player in the class, number 1 overall shooting guard. Over the past week, though, KU has scored commitments from Bryson Tiller, 20th ranked player in the class, power forward. And I don't know how to say this guy's first name. Is it Samis?
I think it's
Calderon?
Samis.
Samis Calderon, the 67th ranked player in the class. KU currently has a top 5 player or a top 5 class in the country. Forget that for a second. This feels almost foreign at this point to be putting together this sort of class. Like, even you go back to like 2018 with Dotson and Grimes, neither one of those guys were top 10 recruits in the country. You know, this seems like Bill is back on his bullshit of like, yeah, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to start doing this again. I'm just going to bring in an FU recruiting class, and we are going to, it's going to be scary next year with a lot of freshmen playing, but it's also going to be really freaking exciting.
I do feel, I was thinking about it as these recruits, these commitments just have been rolling in. I think he just goes to like their home and sits down and just says, looks the parents in the eyes, like, I'm not fucking around. And they go, oh. He's like, all right, so are you coming or not? And they're like, yeah, I think I am. I think I'm going to play for you.
Because, dude, I was so ready to be like, okay, typical. When they missed out on that, who was the point guard? Darius Acuff?
Acuff.
They turned him down.
They just went chips in.
Wait, they turned him down?
Yeah, yeah, Nick.
Mike, take it.
Here's some scoopiness. You clearly haven't been reading your emails.
My
Hopefully, you open them.
No, my credit card got stolen, and then I canceled, so I had to shut that card down. And that was the card I had set up to the VIP stuff.
You were paying. Thank you. That means a lot. I worked really hard on that. So this is what I learned.
Well, I don't pay anymore.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'll take care of you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just open your fucking emails. I'm gonna sneeze now.
Bless you.
Thank you both. So,
bless
you. Okay,
yeah, he didn't say
Acuff was the number one. I don't know what just happened. Acuff was the number one point guard in the country. I believe there was some concerns, demands, like basically saying like, I don't know that they wanted to split some like ball carrier duties with Darren Peterson. Like that's fine. I don't think it was like disrespectful, but I think there were some stipulations where KU basically said, we're going to go after Darren Peterson. So they turned down, they did not miss on Aka. I think he like committed or was like, I will commit, but you can't bring in Peterson. Something like that. And KU was like, we're going to go after Peterson. They really like him. They've been on him for years. And so like that's what happened. KU's been locked in on recruiting. And you talk about all the freshmen. I actually think Peterson's the only starter of this group. I don't think Tiller's...
Is KJ coming back for a fifth year?
Lori, maybe you could put Tiller at the fourth, but I don't think that'll be their plan. I think Tiller's coming off the bench for a year.
Okay.
I'd say, so like, they're getting whoever they want. Simis Calderon was a bit of a surprise because he plays like the same position. We'll see. He's one of those where like, I don't know how they respond if they get recruited over again. So like we kind of got to see what KU does in the spring. They said they're done, but if they end up trying to bring in another freshman or recruiting over the guy in the portal, like I don't think it's a done deal or a sure thing that Calderon ends up like at KU. We've seen this happen before, right? Where the kind of low man on the recruiting class totem pole starts getting cold feet when all the portal guys start piling in.
Who was the guy who did that? LeBaron? He's been playing very well for
he's sick
this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's sick. I think KU would have been happy to keep him. Yeah, Tiller and Calderon play together. So I think it's right now in high school. I think it's totally possible. But I just wouldn't be shocked. Like, we'll see how those guys react because, Tiller's like in your rotation. That's a top 20, top 25 guy. But yeah, they must have been feeling pretty good about Peterson for a long time if you're turning down the number one point guard in the country. But he's kind of that point guard I think like shoots a lot of threes.
I remember in 2020 when KU signed Bryce Thompson, who was like the 20th he was like the 20th ranked player in the country. And I think Bill even said something, but I know a lot of people kind of wrote about this and talked about it, how that was a huge signifier and it was a huge moment for Bill Self to know that like I can still recruit at a high level, that in the midst of this FBI stuff that like if kids still willing to take a chance on me. And I probably bought into some of that shit at the time. And I look back on that now and I'm like, we were so pathetic back then. We were excited for a top 20 recruit. And now in the span of 2 weeks, you give me the number one shooting guard. And the number 20 guy is just like, he's just a nice little tag along. I'm sure Bryson Tiller will be great. But this just feels good to get back to the idea of no, we're bringing in like real classes now. Not just like shoestring a couple nice players here and there.
Top 5 NBA talent. Like coming in.
Yeah,
Darren Peterson.
Wasn't Bryce like the lowest ranked or high, whatever, the worst 5-star in that class? And we were like, marginal 5-star. Like it was so dark. It was such dark times. We're like, oh,
It was.
a 6'3", not super athletic guy.
Not a great shooter.
All right. Not a great shooter.
Whoever bumped into 5-star magically probably got like the scoop on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we'll give you the exclusive, but make him a 5-star.
Awesome.
Come on. Oh, yeah. I think, no, like, to basically land Bryson Tiller, I think, as a bit of a surprise here is I don't know, it's major. It just speaks to kind of the level that they're playing at right now. And they're going to save the rest for the portal. Someone asked if KU could get AJ, the number one recruit in the country. Like someone said, if the price is right, the price isn't right. I think KU will have their one big bad guy, that's Darren Peterson. And if they wanted him, I actually think they could go get him, but like I don't think that's going to be how this staff wants to operate. That's too many freshmen.
I have to come clean on something. Do you remember, shoot, it probably would have been like a year ago, maybe a little less, when I just texted you out of the blue and I was like, what do you know about this AJ DeVisanta guy? And you were like, and you told me what you knew at the time. And I said, that's a name to watch. I go, watch out on that guy. And I gave you the double eye emoji. And then you, of course, went into scoop mode. And you're like, what's going on? Who did you talk to? What did you know? Like, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you now. I haven't told you this since then, but I brought it up a few times to you again since then. But like, you heard anything lately? So the reason I texted you that was because this was still at a time when your likes on Twitter were public. And I went back, I was going through Curtis Townsend's likes, and amidst all of like the big natural pictures that he was liking, I realized he only liked tweets from guys who ended up committing to Kansas. Like they were all guys who were currently in the KU recruiting class. And so then all of a sudden, like I'm starting to connect the dots here. I'm like, there are two things that Curtis Townsend likes on Twitter: beautiful natural women and guys who end up committing to Kansas. So I just told you to keep an eye out for him based on the fact that this guy's nothing if not consistent with his Twitter likes.
That was from a Curtis Townsend like?
Yeah. He just liked a post about like DB, like one of his stat lines from a game. And I was like, who's this guy? Oh, number one player in the country? He's a Jayhawk.
Yeah, he'll show you his hand.
By the way, there was a run where like also when guys KU wanted would enter the transfer portal, like it would pop up on their likes. Someone on the staff would like when they'd tweet, I've entered the portal. And like there were a few there's just like just perfect, like right up there, like gonna start looking into this guy. Oh, okay.
When Bill Self did an interview with like and maybe it was Seth Davis or one of those summer interviews he did, he was talking about some of the younger coaches, and like I think he was talking specifically about Hurley. And Bill said, the one regret I have is I wish we would have gotten into using social media as a recruiting tool more. When it first came up, we were so scared of it. We didn't really know what it was, so we just sort of ignored it. And now it's kind of too late. I'm old enough to where I am who I am. And I was sitting there listening to that and thinking like, yeah, that would have been cool if Bill would have got really into Twitter, And then I started thinking, well, then that means KT would have really got into Twitter. And there's just no way that would have ended well.
No.
If Bill's like, hey, you need to be on Twitter all the time. Like we're reaching out to recruits. Do you know how horribly that I'll tell you this, if in 2012 Curtis Townsend would have fully committed to Twitter, there's a 0% chance he's still at the University of Kansas. 0%.
Bill walks by and he just goes to his lock screen and he's like, "Are you recruiting?" He's like, "Yep. Absolutely. I'm doing something."
By the way, this was a VIP scoop today, recruiting. If you're still listening, we're an hour 14 in, so thank you. We'll just share it. Like, I think there's a decent chance that Bryson Tiller, there's some chatter that he would join the team at at the semester. Probably as a walk-on because they're maxed out on scholarships. And I don't know that he'd really be playing, but he'd be in there like training, working out, practicing. Little Silvio de Souza action. So
that was a big text to get. That's kind of
it was
surprising.
a good scoopy. Yeah, you
Very
like those
good.
VIP texts. Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah, we'll see. Like guys have tried to pull that off before, and it doesn't always work out. But he might get here early.
It's insight like that. That's why I pay $55 a month. I mean, it's a great deal. Am I the only one paying that?
That's the Kevin promo discount. You're getting a good deal. Don't talk about that on here.
Oh, cool.
KU football also has had a good run. We got a two-sport guy, Jaden Nickens, who is a 4-star receiver, picked KU over Georgia, Oklahoma State, was decommitted from OU. How do we see him fitting into basketball? I don't think he's like a top. I think he's maybe like walk-on-y for hoops. No one really knows because he's just been a really good football recruit. Nick, did you know this, that KU got a two-sport guy?
I did, but I came to the same conclusion on my own that you essentially just gave us right now, which is that he sucks in one of these sports. I don't know which one, but he probably sucks in one of them.
Hopefully basketball, because like I think we're going to be covered there. It's gonna
be like a Keon Coleman at Michigan State situation where we kind of forget that you even played basketball at the beginning.
You want to know how you knew Keon Coleman wasn't a serious basketball player? I think he dressed out for the Spartans wearing number 40. Now, if you're Flory, that's fine. If you're 6'3", that's not okay. You're not serious about playing ball.
That's a good take. That is a good take.
Don't check that. And maybe I'm totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was a non-basketball.
Luka wears 77, bro.
Let's not do this. I had to defend him bachelor party. I'm not doing this right now.
Just saying.
Like, are the Cowboys winning?
I don't think so, pal. I wouldn't check that score.
Oh.
That's probably
to Dallas.
Probably a good note to wrap up on. No?
Yeah. No, I mean, the recruiting class is exciting. I want to say next year, real quick, if KU can bring back Riley Griffin, Flory Badunga, and you got Darren Peterson coming, that's a pretty fucking good group of 3 players. That's 3 NBA level starters, and you're saving the rest of that bag for a point guard and figure the rest out. Portal guard. I'm excited. We're hunting.
That's a core.
Gotta
don't
bring
set
them all
me up.
back.
Don't set me up. Don't set me up.
Gotta
one
keep
of the
playing
recruits
Zach
is
Clements.
Decommit. Flory's going pro. He's gonna get drafted like 10th to the Bucks.
Suddenly, Bill's just gonna be like, "Yeah, Flory's not guarding. We're gonna play Zach Clements instead."
Yeah, that's what we need. We need self-throwing Flory in the doghouse at some point soon.
Yeah. What do we do with the Zach Clements situation? Do we even go into this? No, he's not worth our time. He's really bad.
Oh, you don't say.
For now.
Shockingly bad.
For now.
Kansas football situation. Zach Clements does the trapping.
Yes. Yeah, I like that.
All right,
guys.
Nick.
Good. What?
Wrap it. Do the wrap.
I was rapping. All right, guys. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back next week to preview KU Duke.
Hit that like
in
button.
Sin City. Hit the like button.
Friends.
Subscribe,